Over the years, I've left books on the internet. These contain lesser magic. They're on lulu.com. All you got to do is plug in my moniker, Keianh. I'll give you a shortcut to thinking in a moment. There's a method to my madness. I've rattled this off numerous times. I'm technically not trying to get people to read these two. This was the bread and butter. This was the point. This was a stepping stone. Method to my madness. This is not the title. This is not the title. I mention this because people have bought this book before and told me that they got the wrong book, despite the title being on the spine, despite the title being inside the book. If you open the book, somewhere in the book. Imagine that. Again, there's a method to my madness. There are a number of things hidden in these books. You could think of Dead Tongue Speak as being the first in a trilogy if you read them. Again, I'm just trying to get people to read Dead Tongue Speak. This is The Woman in Gray. Again, you don't see the title, so to speak. It's not that amazing in that regard, but I'm looking for people who are going to use the brain between their ears, etc., etc. So if you think of Dead Tongue Speak, the main character isn't mentioned by name in there. But if you read this book and you connect the dots, for one, this is also a chapter, a short chapter. It's fan service in a way. But if you see this jazz here, and you connect the dots, you take the time to read the book, there's another chapter, another pithy chapter. And when you connect this with the other jazz, that's the name of the main character in the first book. It's how I work. The Window in the Wall, this isn't even close to a novella. It's more of a pamphlet. It's a cute little quick read. And it's fun. But there's lesser magic in here. And again, there's lesser magic on the cover, which probably goes over most people's heads, with a 33 or an 88. There's more to that, of course. The alpha and the omega. Oh, little things like that. In between me being clumsy as fuck. There's a lot hidden in these books. There's a lot. But again, I'm just trying to get people to run through Dead Tongue Speak. I think I left this online back in 2017, approximately. I think. It's been a minute. There's also, again, chapters you could read, but you would have to, in this particular instance, you'd have to transcribe the binary in there in order to figure it out, which I don't know anybody who has. It's tedious. I wouldn't expect somebody to do it, but I threw it in there again as fan service if somebody wanted to pick it apart. Yeah, 2017 is when I left it online. And there's answers in here. There are answers in here beyond the story. Initially, I promoted this by saying I only expect you to read 3/4 of this book. 3/4 of this book, that's the lesser magic in particular. The last bit of it wraps up the story, and that's only if you want to resolve things, have some sort of closure. Yeah. If you hung out with me, thanks for hanging out with me. Again, this is on lulu.com, and I'll give you a shortcut to thinking. Trial by fire. It's been a while, so let's see if this still works. Lulu.com, LULU.com. Click on the little magnifying glass, because we use sigils instead of words these days. Punch in my moniker, Keianh, and it should yield results that reflect what I just showed you, in theory. It's alright. The Woman in Gray is up at the top. And there are the prices, etc., etc. Dead Tongue Speak, like I said, is what I was trying to get people to run through. Yeah. I think it says it's $8.73. I don't know if they jacked that up. I don't know. I've been trying to keep it unbelievably cheap. If you pick one up, I make $1, maybe $1 and change, but it should be $1 still. unless something else has changed. I haven't really been on here for a long time. So few people pick these up anyhow. What I should say is, in terms of royalties, they don't give you royalties unless a certain amount of people buy these books. So I don't think I've recouped royalties in years, for perspective's sake. Yeah, all those dollars that I would have collected if people bought more than one book, I guess. Yeah, cracks me up. I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to teach you things you're not supposed to know, and I'm trying to get you thinking again outside of Common Core logic and the numerous other modes our masters use to subjugate us. It's the simplest way to put it. It's an information delivery system, which is what all books should be, but very few are these days. It's also in the format of, you could think of it as My Dinner with Andre, if you've ever seen that movie. Some people will consider it boring, but it's a dyad. It's a conversation that goes back and forth, primarily speaking. There's more in there, but primarily speaking. So that it imparts information that you could stew on. And hopefully you do. If you know somebody who has one of these, borrow it. If you know where to steal one, well, I'm going to turn a blind eye to that. And you never know, you might find one. I still leave them around town. I've mailed them to people who I've asked to leave the books around town. You might find one. You never know. Thanks for hanging out. The title of the book is on the cover if you look at the binary. Of all the things I've left on TikTok so far, the books that I wrote and left in the public sphere have been flagged as community guidelines violation. It makes no fucking sense to me unless, are you not allowed to plug books on here? Is that what it is? Either way. I just saw this and yeah, it doesn't surprise me, but it's very fucking frustrating. Suppose the big question is, does it clearly outline what I violated allegedly? So far I don't see shit. I definitely disagree with this, but what guidelines are you referring to? This is pretty broad. No, that was not helpful at all. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. It's pointless. Yeah. Do you agree with the decision to remove your video? I fucking agree. I've seen similar... Some of those too harsh. The way they worded that is the same wording that you find in the meta stuff having to do with Instagram and, if I'm not mistaken, Facebook. But then again, those two are owned outright by the same assholes. Parts of that. What else? My video did not violate any community guidelines. It's me talking about books I wrote, for fuck's sake. That's insane. Was it submitted? I disagree. I disagreed. I have no idea. Oh, it does say up the very top. I missed that. Appeal received. I would still love to know what the fuck was flagged in here. I'll post this elsewhere. We'll see if it gets flagged on Instagram, and then maybe I'll put it on YouTube just to test the waters. Just the same, fuck censorship. I don't know. I've rattled this off so many goddamn times, you guys. Unless I'm mistaken, and you're not allowed to plug books on TikTok, which I've seen other people do. So unless that's the rut or the crux in this case. Yeah, what I leave on the internet is censored up, down, left, right, forwards, and backwards for a very good reason. But as always, what the fuck do I know? I'm cracking up. These goddamn Nazi fucking fascists. If freedom of speech existed, well, there would be that. But do keep in mind that we don't have anything to protect our rights in a digital medium whatsoever. Nothing was ever put in place because we didn't think that far ahead. We didn't think at all. We just took what our masters were giving us for free. Think back to AOL why it was shopped around for free initially, why cell phones were handed out for free, etc., etc. We were given a form of quote-unquote communication by our masters, which was outlined in the Davos panels, which public transcripts are available. You can still read this shit. And it's towards promoting a phony narrative. Multiple phony narratives, mind you, which promote the great game, which ties into what people consider the New World Order, and absolutely dark things. But yeah. I'm just some guy on the internet. What the fuck could I teach you?